From the river to the sea. Well, what exactly does that mean? Well, first recognize there's never been a country called Palestine, never a Palestinian constitution, a Palestinian currency or border or king. The last nation to inhabit this land was the nation of Israel. The last nation to call Jerusalem its capital was the nation of Israel. This land became occupied 600 years before Christ, when it was conquered by Babylon, and then Babylon by Medo-Persia, then Medo-Persia by Greece, then Greece by Rome. Rome morphed into the Byzantine Empire, and then 636 years after the birth of Christ, the Muslims conquered the Promised Land. For over 1,300 years, there were no nations in the Middle East. This area was a desert and malaria-infested wasteland, was simply part of the Empire of Islam, which lasted until World War I, when this caliphate aligned with Germany and was ultimately defeated. Following World War I, the Middle East was partitioned into various nations, with a portion of the land being promised to form the State of Israel for the Jewish people. 99% of this land was designated Muslim land, with only the biblical homeland of Israel designated for the Jewish people, an area about the size of the state of New Jersey reserved as the Jewish homeland. Well, this led to rioting among the Muslim population, prompting the League of Nations to make concessions. This resulted in the first Land for Peace two-state solution. Only the two states were to be Israel and Jordan. No mention of Palestine, because there never was a nation called Palestine. These modifications were finalized, and in San Remo, Italy, the last official actions by the League of Nations, which was the predecessor to the United Nations, officially declared the land from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea to be the homeland of the Jewish people. Well, again, Muslim riots broke out, and acts of terrorism were employed by the Muslims in Jerusalem and Jaffa and Haifa, delaying Jewish immigration to Israel and the complete implementation of this plan. Then, Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany, leading to World War II and Hitler's final solution, which was to annihilate the Jewish people. Well, after World War II, the United Nations established a second Land for Peace deal called Resolution 181, and further divided the land into a Jewish state and an Arab state. Again, there was no mention of Palestine because there was never a nation called Palestine. Well, this broke the world's promises to Israel once again with what the League of Nations had ratified in San Remo just 26 years earlier. This time, the Jewish people were given the desert in the south and the sand-covered beaches on the west coast, a sliver of land that was indefensible militarily. But once again, the Jews were willing to accept this compromise. They just wanted a home. They just wanted a place where they could live in safety without persecution. And once again, the Muslim nations said no and declared war on Israel. Now get this. Fresh off the Holocaust, with only 19,000 armed men, Israel was attacked by 5 Muslim armies: Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, and Egypt. And Israel miraculously won. Don't tell me there isn't a God. Islam believes that the entire world will eventually belong to them, and once a land is conquered, can never be returned to non-Muslims, especially Jews. Muhammad hated the Jews. Hamas's charter says Israel will exist and will continue until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it. In 1964, the Palestinian Liberation Organization was born. Now recognize that for 19 years, what is called the West Bank and Gaza were under Muslim control. If they wanted to coexist beside Israel, they could have easily done so. The PLO charter states clearly that they don't want that land. Their goal was to liberate what they call Palestine, in other words, to wipe Israel off the face of the map. Notice the seal of the PLO. There is no Israel there. Look at the seal for Hamas. There is no Israel. There is no two-state solution. The goal of the Muslims is to annihilate the Jews and reconquer the land of Israel. From the river to the sea means to wipe Israel off of the map. Syrian Defense Minister Hafez Assad stated proudly just before the Six-Day War in 1967, "We shall never call for nor accept peace. We shall only accept war and the restoration of the usurped land. We have resolved to drench this land with our blood, to oust you, aggressors, and throw you into the sea for good." This is where the term "from the river to the sea" originated. In 1987, Hamas stated their goal in their charter when they quoted the Hadith, which says, "The day of judgment will not come until Muslims fight against the Jews, killing the Jews. And when the Jews hide behind stones and trees, even the stones and trees will cry out to the Muslims, 'Oh, there's a Jew hiding behind me. Come and kill him.'" Ladies and gentlemen, the Iranian regime chants death to America and death to Israel while they continue to develop nuclear weapons, which without doubt would be used to destroy Israel. Well, after World War II, after the Holocaust, the Israelis have sworn never again. Israel is back in the land that God gave them 3,500 years ago, and the land that the League of Nations agreed belonged to them a century ago. Israelis are not fighting for prosperity. They're fighting for survival from a people who want to wipe them off the earth. With Muslim countries donating heavily to American universities, it's no wonder that our young people are being conned and misled. When foolish college students chant "from the river to the sea," not even knowing what river or what sea they're talking about, what they're saying is they mean to kill every Jew on the planet and wipe Israel off the face of the earth. Think about it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you won't miss our next 5-minute facts video.